got shaders on. Spent a lot of time tinkering and fiddling with performance to try to make it so I could have a smooth shaders experience. You know, there's going to be a hitch here and there, I think, but the frame rate's lower, but it just looks nice. Things look nice, more alive, fancier, Pinterestable. And look at it, building looks a little bit nicer too. But you know, if you're watching, you're like, please, for the love of God, turn those off. Then you know, let me know down in the comments. Welcome back to another episode of BurgCraft. I'm gonna be trying to do this. There's not many games I feel where you have the degree of customization to fiddle with a client. Like, one of the problems I ran into is I just wasn't allocating enough RAM to the game. And I could just open up the folder and just do that. And that's all it took. And now it runs smoother. Took a lot of fiddling to get the shaders because, you know, because I'm using Voxy, the render distance mod. And I needed to find something that was compatible with it and making sure that shadows looked okay, distance looked okay, fogs and all of that all worked under good performance loads, everything. There's still a few hitches and things that I'm not 100% on. Like, there's a few places of like kind of pop in shadows, which I think is going to take a little bit of messing around with. But just like when you're in an area and just existing, I think it looks better and adds a little bit of character to the buildings. I mean, look inside too. Like, ooh, moody. Glass looks nice and everything. So I think this will be fine. Once again, if you think it's terrible, then, you know, I'll turn it off. That's fine. I've been kind of busy doing the resource gathering stuff. Oh, one of the things about shaders also that, like, I had to try to fiddle to make this a little bit lighter because in the shader version, I could see it, but when I recorded or like streamed to somebody, it looked awful. It was terrible. It was too dark. So I've been doing some resource gathering because I have things I want to build. I've dug out this cave a little bit more for a little bit more space, but this isn't big enough. It's going to have to be lower. It's going to be longer. It's going to be gigantic for the eventual storage. Now, what's on today's docket? Today's docket, I have farms to make. One farm is decorative, one farm is functional, and one is for storage. So, decorations, Froglight Farm, because froglights are awesome and they are great and really good for lighting, and then I can stop some of this torch spam going on. For function, Enderman Farm. For XP, because the end isn't that far away from me, and it would be nice to have some a good XP source. No strings attached, and storage functional Shulker Farm, in which you're going to see the entirety of the disaster that takes. First, however, is Froglight Farm. Now, the first thing you need for froglights is frogs. Froglights show up when... One second. There's noises. Look at the hue up here, by the way, in this biome, because here we're in a warped forest. Look at that hue. That's a really cool sky color. Froglight Farm. Frogs come from... I'm going to be honest, I just said frogs come from and then paused, because none of those words were actually what I was trying to correctly do or say. Frog lights come from when a frog eats a tiny, tiny magma cube. And there's 3 colors based on the 3 different types of frogs. The frogs have to grow up in a warm, a medium, and a cold biome in order to grow into the different colors. And while I've been working on other things, including that building, by the way, secretly, I have been, and I'm busy. I've been breeding frogs. So in here we have frog of the toasty variety. And I have a spot in a medium biome and a cold biome with more frogs in it. So what do we do? What do we need? Well, normally, the normal way people would make these is you'd find a magma spawner. In the nether, you'd find those in a bastion. I have not found the type of bastion that has that yet. The alternative is to build it in a random place on the roof in a basalt delta, which if I go over to this location, recam down, this isn't the right place. This isn't the right torch. What was this for? I put a torch for where did I put this? Where? Here. In a basalt delta, if we go below the roof. A nice big basalt delta. The advantage to these is that they only spawn magma cubes and ghasts. But we can prevent ghast spawn with a couple spawn tricks. So what we gotta do, we make a spawn platform for some magma cubes. We'll make a iron golem. This is essentially just going to be similar to a swamp space slime farm, just in the nether on the roof. Makes the cubes, they go for iron golems. They fall into a hole, die, turn into small bits, but instead of dying, we have frogs there to eat them all up. And that's it. This is not complicated. So we're gonna build that. I'm gonna build it first and then grab the frogs, because I feel like that's gonna be a train wreck. It started. I was gathering materials to actually build this properly, and then I realized that I hadn't shouted out the person who made it. This farm comes from RadicalElder on YouTube. Link will be on the description. Go check it out. Yes, that I didn't come up with this, so go have a look at that. And yeah, we're gonna go build it now. This time, I swear. And if in the future I have forgotten something, then this is gonna be a really embarrassing transition to. I didn't forget anything. So this is me actually building it. This is actually just like the start. This is the very bottom. This is storage and item collection and the area in which the frogs are going to go and kill all the magma cubes. Not complicated. It is a square with minecarts. That's it. That's all I have. Okay, the base structure is now done. So that means it's time to grab the frogs. Put them in. Grab my leads and slime. Bring them over. Frogs are in there. I have 8 of each type. That should probably be enough for my point purposes. Now I'm gonna finish the rest, starting off with the most obnoxious part. The main way to kill the cubes is powdered snow, which I went and diligently collected from the area where Percival had his incident. But to describe this process as tedious is letting the word tedious, surprisingly enough, do a lot of the heavy lifting. Because the goal isn't to... It's not like the slimes where you actually want to kill them. The goal is actually to make them just the smallest version possible so that the frogs can eat them up. So, powdered snow, 1 block above, will be tall enough for the 2 first stages of magma cube, and then after that, the frogs eat them. This little area here will have minecarts. It goes back and forth constantly, and will fill up the chest there. If you were curious, which I don't necessarily know anyone would be, but you may notice that there's a minecart collection system, but it's not the same one that I've been using in all the other farms so far. You might be thinking to yourself, why is that? The reason is, in the sugarcane farm and in the bamboo farm, that makes a lot of material when you run it, but it makes it at 1 point when you run it. So, in terms of like performance and like being optimal and, you know, reducing lag in your area, it's more efficient to have them come out when something happens. When you're breaking the bamboo, that's when you want to pick up the bamboo. Here, however, we don't run into the same thing because the frogs are going to be working all of the time. They will always be running. They will always be spitting out a little bit of froglight. So it makes more sense in this case for the minecarts to always be going. There's no like incident where it starts. It is going constantly. So we have the minecarts going constantly, picking up everything. Okay, frogs are in. Powdered snow up. We're killing. So now it's time to build the rest of it. The spawning platforms around. Iron golems at an AFK spot. I think I'm low on glass. I don't think I brought enough. So I'll get some of that and then finish this up. Let's go. This is just making a couple circles that magma cubes can spawn on and making some iron golems to attract them. Materials don't really matter for most of this except for the very, very top, which you're going to see I make out of glass. That's to prevent the gas from spawning in. But this is just a nice simple circle and that's it. And we can see just how effective it is just by looking. As soon as I start AFKing, they're pouring in. That's all delicious frog lights pouring into that hole. You love to see it. I'm running out of time. Get it down there. It's glorious. The farm is completed. Nice and simple and straightforward. You can see all the magma cubes are going towards these golems, falling in the snow. They're slowly freezing, going the smaller ones. Whenever there is actually spawns, you can't see the frogs. But the frogs are going through there, and they are creating all sorts of lights. They are living the best life. Just eating all day. There's 8 of each type of frog in there, which is like plenty enough to keep up. But there's just so many that I almost think that I'm gonna might miss some in collection given how many cubes there are. But see, here's like a break. And that spawns in more up there. They kind of come in like kind of big waves, just sort of weird. But yeah, this is literally just finished. I've been standing here for probably just whatever length it was that I was just speaking. So let's go down and have a look. Some cubes. What a noise. This is the sound of my apartment at 11:30 p.m. and 11:30 a.m. And we look here. We're doing pretty good already. We already have some frog lights here. Just for a couple minutes, having like a couple stacks of each is gigantic. Yeah, they're trying to empty out, but there's just so much stuff. It's gonna take a little bit. In order for those minecarts to empty, I gotta be down here for a good number of seconds. Yeah, there we go. Now it's actually emptied out. Why are all the frogs in this corner? I don't understand. Whatever. But yeah, this is good. Oh, we gotta get the achievement actually. Perfect. And now I can just sort of AFK here for a little while, and we'll see what the rate is gonna be. I'm gonna say, let's say like, I don't know, I'm just gonna do this for a few minutes just to try to build this up. All right, this has been going strong for another few minutes. Like 20 minutes, half hour or something. Let's have a look. Oh, the sound. Oh, yes. That is so many frog lights. Excellent. Well, that's a mission accomplished. I'm gonna grab some of these and take them home. I can't. Oh, wait, no, I have some. Great work, my little froggy. All right, so now we're at the end. This is with shaders on. This is actually one of the main motivations to why I wanted to have on some shaders, because remember the last video I was complaining about seeing the outsides, and you kind of can, like if you zoom in and really look, but this makes this feel a lot more isolated again, and that's awesome. So it feels like a proper like isolated space. Here for an Enderman Farm for some XP and Ender Pearls, I guess, but whatever. I'm gonna be following a design. It's an amalgamation of sorts that I saw originally in a Welsknight video. So that link will be in the description, as is tradition. So I'm going to get started on that. Enderman farms are pretty straightforward, and you should watch Welsknight's video anyways, because it's a good, like, little descriptor. So I think it's time to get started in here. I lied. There is one thing I do have to do first. Which I don't want to do in a time-lapse form. We have a perilous journey downwards, because it's better to build these at the bottom of the world. So, well, this is for your entertainment, just in case I massively fuck it up. Why do I keep like drifting to the sides? Oh shit. I'm actually planning on making this just like an elevator. I don't know how deep we're gonna get. There'll just be a point where we get down to the build. Oh, fucking Christ, that scared the shit out of me. Alright, that's the bottom. That's as low as we can get. Oh, okay, everything's fine. Everything's good. There we go. Ooh, this is really uncomfortable. Put all that stuff in, but then realize, like, oh, the ground is going to be carpets. This is the wrong height. Oh, shit. I fucked up a little bit. Naturally. Alright, let's see how this goes. If I lose the one soul sand down there, I'm going to be really annoyed. Please? No, fuck. God damn it! You know, I grabbed a single soul sand, and I was like, I'm gonna regret it. I'm gonna need more than one soul sand. And I'm gonna feel like a dingus when I lose this soul sand. I was like, no, I only need the one, technically. Look at it, falling apart. That's a mission accomplished on the dangerous part, at least. Way down. And way up. So that's the dangerous part, which I wanted to record separately because, you know, you never know how that's going to go. But now I'm going to build the rest of it in time-lapse form. So let's go. I'm trying something new for this episode. I'm doing some longer time lapses so I can kind of talk more about it. If these are too long, you know, you can feel free to tell me. But this is me making the large path outwards and all the safety. There's a little drop chute under here, which is going to open them up. So if I don't want to have to deal with the ender pearls or the endermen, I can just open that up and they'll just go instead of building up next to me. And I don't have to worry about throwing out all the ender pearls over and over again. Once you actually get down here, it's not so sketchy to build this. It's just like, you know, it is a chute and a square. But the fog on the shaders makes this look really cool during a time lapse, I think. Looks all mystical and magical and things. I did mess up the torching a little bit here and there and had some enderman spawn, but that's fine. And I was putting together the little section to get the endermite, which took way too many pearls, but got it working. And I love just seeing them. They all start coming in, and I just can't get enough of the dump. The dump of enderman into the void. Feels good. Look at it. It's coming together. Enderman Farm is done. I do love this because I love that, I love this drop chute to be like, no, I'm good. I have the mob sounds off because it's fucking horrendous here. But, you know. Yeah, so here we are. I didn't measure how far out it was. It's longer than it needs to, the path outwards. I went for safety because I like railings. I don't want to have the sketch. Similar to like the witch farm. I just like want to have it like as safe as humanly possible. But yeah. If you're not familiar with Enderman Farms, basically, big square spawning platform, low as possible because mobs generally spawn more regularly the lower you are. There is an endermite in this minecart. They don't like it. They try to kill it. they think that the best way they can go is this trapdoored hole in the middle here. And they fall down 41 blocks, which is the exact amount you need to get them to be one-shot. So I close this and just walk in and one-shot everything. And everything's good. So mending is sorted, and this isn't that far. At the other end, I did make water elevators. I can just fly up, but I don't know, something about the proper safety feels nice. But that is done. XP is sorted. Froglights are sorted. This is looking good. We are making killer progress on a lot of projects. Except now it's time to clean up and put things away. My least favorite thing to do. I'm gonna do that, and then it's on to the next one, which is gonna be a doozy. The final project for today is going to be a pretty hefty one. It is going to be a shulker farm. I need shulkers, and my general preference for shulker farms is not to have them in the end. Building them in the end is easier, but having them close by is just better for quality of life overall all of the time. So it will go here in this area somewhere around this place. It has to be the one I'm going for. Actually, realistically, all of them, they all have to be pretty far away from portals that exist. There's one there and there's one over there. So I've gone for over on this side. There's no portals in this direction on the roof either. I was thinking the other hill, but that would be halfway between my roof portal and the end dimension portal. So that would be pretty snug, and you don't want to have any accidental errors, any sort of accidental linking, especially with shulkers. It is just easier to put it over there. Now the main key of shulker transportation is prep. I would not describe shulker transportation as difficult, but tedious, and can be difficult if you don't know what you're doing and you are not prepped. As you can see, by the way, even though the end portal is pretty far away, that's the distance. So if this was in between, Shulker Farm would be like right here, and that's no good. Now Shulker Farm is going to be over there somewhere. Place I had earmarked for a gold farm, but I'd rather Shulker Farm, if I'm 100% honest, be just a lot more convenient. So, how do you prep? Well, the key is basically making sure all the things are as together as you could possibly have them. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to make the farm, the track, everything, so that I should be able to grab the shulker and just let it go. Step 1 is to find a suitable end city, one of which in my travels I have found already. Suitable end city in this context... Ooh, I didn't bring any of the things that I need. Speaking of being prepared, I didn't bring in rockets, and I need those so badly for this. Okay, let's try this again. All right, we're back here in the end. This time, actually prepared. So, when I say prep, what do I mean? Well, the first thing is we have to find a suitable candidate of an end city to go to. What makes a suitable end city to go to? Ideally, it needs to have an end portal very, very close to an end city. Because, well, you know, if we're gonna be picking up a shulker in a minecart and propelling it along. The less distance it has to travel, the better. It has a lot of distance to travel. We may as well make it easy on ourselves. Now this here is our location. Because we have end gate right here, city right here. Now what we're going to try to do is, I'm going to not disturb them unless I have to. Over there, there's the front door. We're going to be yoinking one of these guys, digging through the back door, and sending the rail into here. So, first piece of prep that we need to do. This is going to seem a little bit strange, but we need to prep this pathway. I'm not going to be making the entire journey just yet. But the very first thing we actually have to do is figure out, when I go through this end portal, what direction am I going to face when I get out of here? Because if I have this path that goes into this end portal, I'm going to go face a direction. The minecart will also face this direction. So we go through this way. This will go in this direction. So I'm going to hold up this F3 so I can get the facing south and get a screenshot. Now, every time I go through here, when I go through here again, like, and I come back to the end, this is going to break. Not much we can do about that, but we can remember the direction. We're going to have to rebuild that section basically every single time. It's a little goofy, but, you know, that's how it is. That is part one. Once we get the shulker here, what's going to happen is it's going to come up a rail path. And in this corner, I'm going to have an activator rail, which will kick the shulker out. The shulker will want to have go to an adjacent block at the same height. So we're going to end up just sort of making a little path like so to make it so it only wants to go onto the bedrock that's underneath here. And then touch the end portal and goes through. And that's that. The next piece of prep to make sure of is actually going to involve going to a portal that I've made off stream. We come up here on the roof. These are all labeled, but I didn't label one of the paths, which is this one. This path, torches, goes back to world spawn. It's going to take roughly 100 years to fly there, because it is 1,600 blocks. And this portal here will take us back to where it all began. And here we are. This is where our world began, just all the way back in episode 1. We spawned up on this hill. Isn't that exciting? Now, the real world spawn, the real 0, I have actually marked, here it is, with that pillar of dirt. And you can tell it's world spawn because of the Enderman around here. Anything that goes through the portal, the end return portal, shows up at 0 on the highest available block. We go into the chunk borders. 0 here is in this corner of that chunk. So what we're going to do, this has already been marked because I knew that I had to do it in advance, but this would be the other prep, is basically what's going to happen is if I was to teleport a shulker through the end gateway right this second, it would show up sitting on top of that dirt pillar. So the plan is, for safety's sake, is build up to have, actually, you know, I don't even think we have to build up. We could probably just have it here, just at a reasonable level. A little station for it to arrive and a rail line to pick it back up into a minecart to bring it back over to this portal here. Because that will allow us to bring the shulker up to the nether roof. Now, when it comes to transporting shulkers, there's a few options you can do, right? You can either build a rail line as far as you need to take it. Either just build that rail line, you just take it in a minecart as far as you need to go in the overworld. You can put it into a flying machine and send it all the way. I actually did that on the server when I made a Shulker Farm at my base. I put it into a set of flying machines where you take it along you pick it up in a flying machine and you protect it and you ride the flying machine all the way in one direction. And then you make a turn to go in the other direction to get it to where you need it to go. That is a cool process, but is boring to do. It's also a little stressful because you have to build up everything high enough that you aren't going to run into any mountains. If you run into a mountain on a flying machine, it's over. Shulker's gone. Other option, which I'm going to do, is take a rail line, put it through this portal, and just have it come out the other side. It's going to come out right there. And can just do a rail line this entire length. That's not super ideal in terms of the length. Because this will still be about... It's still 1,700 blocks, right? Like, It's still a lot. It's a lot of rails. If this was farther, honestly, I would probably build a flying machine up here and dump it into the, dump the shulker into it. But a shulker rails is totally fine. We have an iron farm, so we can do that. So we're going to end up sending it all the way on a rail line, all the way to here, and then through the home portal. Actually, no, we have a couple options. We can send it through the home portal, or after we've built the machine has a, the Shulker Farm has a rooftop component. That's how it kills them. We can actually just put it directly there. I don't know how to do that safely. It would be shorter distance and simpler, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take it through this one instead. So this will go through here. We'll have a rail line that extends out all of the way over there. And this will to where the farm is, and then we'll drop it into the farm. And that's going to be the entire procedure. Now, that is a lot. It's mostly just tedious because, you know, you have to actually place all the rails in advance. But once it's all placed, it should be as simple as get a handful of coal and send a shulker into a minecart and follow it. So here's hoping for simple. So now I'm just gonna go actually build the farm part. I'm gonna set up all of the rails, and then we'll come back to look at how the farm works, and then we'll go on the journey. Let's do it. I forgot to mention, but the farm design I'm going with is by Ianxofour. The link's going to be in the description. Ianxofour has a lot of very simple farms that work wonderfully depending on, you know, updates and things, but I'm a big fan of it. And what you're seeing is basically all it is. It's a bunch of gigantic portals. You basically are maximizing the amount of spaces that whenever a shulker teleports, it touches a portal and goes away and can't kind of duplicate and go elsewhere. There's not really much else to it. The chamber on the inside is a little bit complicated, but this is the least complicated one that I've ever seen, and I'm a huge fan of that because these shulker designs can get a little bit messed up. But here is just the inside little bit. That's just the chamber that actually has the shulker in it, and it has 24 snow golems, which you could see me making there. You also see me messing up some waterlogging a couple times, which is sort of embarrassing. Now, this is the killing chamber on the nether roof side, all spawn-proofed. The thing I also like about this is it has backup shulkers because there's always a small chance that your shulker dies and doesn't teleport. And this is a good place to get some backups. So if it breaks, it's easy to fix, and that's awesome. You know, it's nice, like, looking out the scale of the things you're building, seeing how it looks against the landscape. When I was building, I was like, ooh, I've made a big building. It's not the biggest building, but it's a big building. And that's a big building. And then you make something like this, and it just sort of messes the scale a little bit. I mean, look. Like, I go over here. Look at this. It's like a cube. Oh, shit. All right, so main thing is done, and the killing chamber is done. I have to go get the shulker now, but I'll just kind of broadly explain how this ends up working. So we have 5. These are going to be 5 portals, and there's a little shulker chamber in the middle here. And how this actually looks: go up. We have some snow golems here, trapdoor. Shulker's going to go in here. It's going to be closed off, but this is just open so I can load the shulker in. Shulker's going to be in here. This dispenser has an armor stand in it, which I'm going to put into the Shulker's hitbox to give it a better chance of being alive. But Shulker wants to shoot these guys, but can't because of the bamboo. Shoots up, goes into the water, comes back down, splash damages itself, and has a high chance of teleporting. The only place it can teleport is going to be onto these glass walls. Glass isn't necessary, I just like it. And when it teleports onto them, it'll touch the portals and it'll go over into the killing chamber. Killing chamber is kind of weird, so I'll go over to there. I made it close, the killing chamber close by to my base. Didn't realize this is the roof portal. Here's the killing chamber. It's just right here. This is the chamber. That is a lit portal that when the Shulkers touch it, will go into there. A few are going to teleport over to this area, and these will be backups, so I can restock the Shulker Farm. The only other place that can teleport is onto one of these slabs. But what this will do, when they teleport into the slabs, is they'll actually automatically get picked up by the boat, and then they'll suffocate in the Shulker sand. And then that will go into these collection chests here. I'm going to have a fancier collection set up in the future. I just don't have that currently. So now is going to be the lengthy process of building the infrastructure to get the Shulker here. Which is going to be several thousand rails, essentially. Well, I'm going to get that started, I guess. Something about building a lengthy dirt bridge in the rain feels appropriate. Guys, do you think that the gigantic dirt path is ruining the aesthetics? Alright. Profoundly tedious task ahead. Path of rails to 0, 0. About 1,600 blocks if I take the corner, like, the straight line. But I feel like that's going to be, like, really annoying. Like, this technically works. But I don't like it. Well, I'm going to do it, though. Okay, I was doing the wonky path, but I've decided that I really don't want to because I just placed the rails slower. Overall, this is faster, even though more expensive, but I can afford it. I'm rich in sticks and iron. I'm nearing the end of the rail path on the nether roof, and I deeply regret doing this. I should have done the fucking flying machines. Jesus Christ. I've actually only been doing this for 10 minutes. And it's, you know, the portal's over there. I'm getting there. But I'm, like, still... like, ugh. Okay, so this is going to be the pickup station in the overworld for the Shulker. It will spawn on this block. I pull up the chunks. This is exactly 0, 0. It'll spawn right there when it comes to the end. When we go through the portal, we'll probably spawn on one of these hills. We come down here, hide behind here, minecart, and it takes it off into the nether portal that goes to the roof. And now we just got to make the path in the end, and then we'll go out and get the Shulker. All right, spawn set, spawn broken. Got a journey to go on. Spawn through center of the portal. And because we checked earlier, we faced south, so I pointed it in that direction. So when the Shulker comes through, we should come back through this way. Okay, this is the loader to get them into the overworld. Spawn, it'll follow here. Hits this activator rail, and that'll teleport it to the adjacent block that is the same Y level, which is in the portal. You can make this thicker if you're nervous, but you don't have to. Now we're off to the end city. That was spot that we have from recorded earlier. And here we are. Which side's back? Need to break into the back. Which is on the same side of me. Convenient. All right. We are fully set up, hopefully. What? Okay, yeah, the shulkers are still there on the other side. So, boink. And there's one. And, oh, leave me alone. He's through the end gateway. That's through. Hopefully I've done this right. Ooh, this is going. No, out of the way. Thank you, sir. That minecart is empty. Shulkers are nowhere to be seen. That means shulkers to the other side. Oh, no. Oh, he spawned here. What the hell? Okay. Ooh. Ooh, that's a complication. That's a complication. Why'd he spawn here? This is 0-0. Okay. Okay. Right. All right. This is salvageable. This is salvageable. The rockets. Why'd he go there? That's not where 0-0 is. That's really obnoxious. But we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay, we're a little high. Don't need to be that high. Just gotta get the rails go past them. Okay, run away, run away, run away. Howard. That. You. And go. There we go. Got him. Oh, that hit him a bit. Hurt him a little bit. Corner was too sharp. Okay, good to know. Okay. Okay, going forward, going forward. This is looking good. In through the portal. Okay. He is hurting a little bit, which I don't really like, but okay. So he has set off on the journey. So we're just gonna follow him from a distance to make and keep refilling the furnace minecart when necessary. Wink. I don't wanna activate him so he doesn't accidentally hit himself. And he won't disappear if he gets too far, thankfully. I don't have to name tag them because shulkers are different compared to regular mobs. They just exist perpetually until they die. Is the furnace minecart slower than it used to be? This is the longest journey on the planet, by the way. But it's better than Flying Machine on the overworld. So, that's something. We're almost home, at least. We're getting there. We're almost at the point where I gave up doing diagonal rails. That's how I know we're going to be close. I don't actually understand how the fueling of these works. So, I'm just kind of coaling it every once in a while and just assuming that's good. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, there goes the diagonal bit. And it stops. It's kind of cursed what happens. It looks like when you're going down the diagonals, it looks like the furnace minecart is talking to you. And it's like... Okay, we're gonna have to get ready to light the portals when we get there. Once we've checked to make sure everything is good. Okay, that's all gone through. Okay, Shulker is home. I'll fill this up, so it should be fine. Should have lit up this area a little nicer, but... Oh, I have a bed on me. Oh my god. I can just go sleep really quick. Cheeky little sleep. Oh, I didn't bring obsidian with me to actually close off the portals. We'll get this guy into the killing chamber first, and then I'll do that. I'll go get it really quick. Oh shit. There we go. Dropped in. Activated in. Huge. Okay, I'll grab obsidian really quick. Okay, so to finish this off, close the portal. That like so. We're gonna put scaffolding here for the future. Okay, we're gonna go up. Push that in. Shit, no, I need to go back up there for a sec. I need to get rid of this, and that. And now I should be able to just light the portals. Oh, no, 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 no. To go up here. Please let me up. Go. Shit, 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 shit. Oh, it doesn't matter what's here. It doesn't matter what's here. I can just do this. That's fine. Oh, it's ugly, but I don't want to lose the shulker. Do that just for now. But I should be able to. Oop, oop. Now we're gonna hang out here for a little while. Oh god, it's so loud. And just hang out here. This should be functioning. We just have to make sure that they're gonna end up in the right place and the shulker doesn't just immediately die. We're getting teleports. Okay, so that's good though. What I'm gonna do is I'm literally going to sit here in a little hole, AFK for a little bit to make sure that the other side fills up. We get our backup shulkers and we'll see how it's looking. This is looking like a successful project though. All right, been here a few minutes. Turn the machine off. Shulker's still there and alive. Oh, that's my shit. My inventory is in shambles after doing all of that. Look at this. All right, let's see a couple minutes. Make sure everything's stocked up on the other side before we call this a success, a full success. Okay, shulker area is stocked with backups and this guy. Okay. Ooh, we got kills. We got deaths. That means 38 shells just from a couple minutes. This is working. Mission accomplished. I'm going to leave this rail here for the time being, just in case something goes horrifically wrong and all my backup shulkers die. This is essentially me packing 17 pairs of underwear for a 2-day trip. Leaving this rail here. What if I shit myself 8 times a day? You never know. You know what I said earlier about it being like a menacing structure? Being the bright purple cube has made that even more salient. You know, this sheep is stuck here and won't leave and is now permanently naked. I have a perma-naked sheep. And, interesting. Anywho, success. Okay, something's gone horrifically wrong. I think my scaffolding I think my scaffolding next to the off switch was too tall because I had a shulker down here. There's also a shulker here. What is happening over here? Oh my, there's so many. There's so many for the... Did any other shulkers get around? No. God, it must have been... Yeah, because I found a shulker when I was AFKing while I was editing the video. Just to see how much was there. And there was a shulker stuck, like, here, like on the bottom of this portal. So it must have teleported onto the scaffolding and then come here. That's fucking weird. I think that must be what happened. Is this... Otherwise... No, the shulker is gone. Oh, you suck. God fucking... Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. We gotta get out of here. Oh shit. Fuck. Okay, we're out of here. If I just leave, they should despawn. Let me go back. Yeah, okay. Everything's good over here. It's all fine. That must be what happened, because there's nowhere else it could have teleported. Right? Okay, I gotta do a little bit of inspection of this, I think. Because they shouldn't be able to teleport to here. Because if the platform is here, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 8 is the furthest distance they could teleport. Must have been the scaffolding. They must have tried to get to the scaffolding. Interesting. Anyways, so that means that the Shulker Farm is currently broken. But that's what the backups are for. That's why we have backups. Let's see how many I got before it exploded. I was probably there for a couple hours while I was editing. So if that happened at the start, I'm going to be really annoyed. It happened at the... that happened at the start. Oh, my insanity, man. Why is that minecart here gone? There should be a minecart here. Where did that go? What is going on here? This is empty. Right. Well, then I guess I'm going to demonstrate the restocking behavior of the farm. You know, last time I built this is exactly what happened, actually. I managed to... Like, the farm worked. I got it set up, and it broke within the first hour, and I had to, like, restock it. So this is consistent. But this is why I go for a design that has backups, because if it has backups, then I can... Like, it doesn't really matter how many times it ends up breaking, I can fix it. I was hoping that this was going to be... I was going to, like, tab back over and, like, do my outro sort of thing. But no, I'm fixing this instead, which is really cool. God! What? Why was that so loud? I didn't bring scaffolding. Why am I like this? Why did I bring one scaffold? What am I gonna do with one scaffolding? This is how shooketh I am by this happening immediately. I'm flabbergasted. Fix the ugly dirt while I remember. I'm gonna need to get a turtle egg for these guys. They're wandering around to make this a little bit less stressful. Okay, I think that's all good. Minecart is up here. Okay. To the nether to do the restock. Okay, so that's there. Fishing rod. Drop down. Yoink. And it goes. Okay. That should be teleported to the other side. Let's go check. Okay, Shulker is in that minecart. So we drop down, land, put the lever, down it goes, into the farm. I'll have to grab that minecart and replace it in the future. There. Up. We shove the shulker in. That. Break the lever. Break this lever. Minecart. Scaffolding. Color up on this side. Can hit in the armor stand again. Boink. Break the button, not with a pickaxe this time, so that I don't break the dispenser. Relight the portal. Back on. Yep, there goes a teleport. They're very hard to see, but it is teleporting. So that means that's a success. All right, that is repaired. Everything is fine. It must have just been the scaffolding that I had a little bit too high. Got to be careful with the shulker teleportation, and we got to make sure a lot of stuff is teleport proof, which is quite difficult. The farm would be very effective if it had been running the entire time, which it hadn't. Oh man, that was scary. But at least got to demonstrate the restocking mechanism, which is kind of neat. As you can see, though, I have actually cleaned up the area. Oh shit, I can't leave. I can't leave because if you leave while it's on, you can have problems, I've learned. I'll turn it off for the time being. Just cause. And I guess in a future episode, we'll figure out if there are any more problems. I need to get a wither rose. I need to get an egg to get rid of these guys, because these guys are going to be kind of a lag problem eventually. But I'll do a quick check over to the other side, make sure that it is still functioning properly. It's so dark with shaders on. I gotta light this place up. It's crazy. Yep, we got deaths going on, and backlog is restocked again. Shells coming in. Even just this is really good. So the one thing that's nice about this farm. Oh, also I did actually. I had some off time, and I just went and cleared the entire rail. You gotta be brave sometimes, and sometimes bravery is deleting a bunch of rails. Now, given basically everything that went on, like the complexity of moving mobs and stuff, this is probably one of the easiest farms to make. Just generally, it's one of the reasons I really love it. It's so simple in its mechanics and so simple in its execution, and it's great. It has ease of use in mind, and I really appreciate that. There are faster shulker farms out there that you can get this crazy amount of shells, but like I'm one person. I don't need the fastest farm. I need one that's going to work, and this is reliable, other than human error. And I believe a quote from the video is that it makes more shells than you can fill up as a player per hour. It will make shells faster than you can fill them. That's good enough. That's good for me. But that's going to be huge. That's going to unlock storage potential. It unlocks farm potential. We can have so many other things like simplified, condensed. We have storage options. It's going to be sick. I'm very excited about this, and I'm very happy to get that done. That's a lot of projects busted out. We got decoration, we got XP, we got shulkers. We are unstoppable. So that's going to be it for this episode. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for doing all that. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like it. Subscribe if that interests you, because, I would like to get that subscriber number up so someday I could get several cents from the ads that YouTube is shoving down your throats rather than YouTube getting it. And yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do in the next one. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll think about it. Maybe we'll make this place. We'll have another session of making this place less ugly. I think that's beneficial, right? Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. See you in the next one. Bye.